Welcome back to the Book of Vinzer Flinn, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. The Fat Man story is done for now, but I have to say I like the name for this little pod blog, so I'm going to keep it. So anyone else trying to shake off the winter blahs and get their asses in gear? Not just me? Good. But things are gearing up a little. Rain and I have started the Buffy and Clone Wars rewatch, so we'll have that for you soon. If you want to follow along with us, go watch the first 2 episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and the Clone Wars movie that kicked off that series, as those will be our first 2 discussions. As I record this today, the first promotional images of Obi-Wan Kenobi have come out, and we'll be all over that when it premieres. I look forward to all the angry tweets when the show serves up something awesome, but that doesn't match their expectations perfectly. I'm pretty sure from one of the new images Kenobi must venture to another planet entirely, and I can't wait to see the people complaining that we're always on Tatooine isn't on Tatooine for 5 minutes. But in the meantime, it's time to switch gears to the other great sci-fi staple, Star Trek. Picard Season 2 has kicked off, and I've called in a couple of Flinns to talk about it. For the show's run, we're gonna have the juice. With a particular love for the original series, Juice is our walking encyclopedia galactica of Star Trek knowledge. It belongs to many clubs and associations, and I've heard at least one great drinking story from a convention many years ago, so make sure you ask him about that. Juice and his wife Jinx are soon expecting their twins, and we're all pretty excited about that. And we're gonna have Jenny, aka Shannara Sarborlin, who's been my D&D adventuring pal with the original Night Flynn since before there ever was a Mandalorian clan Flynn. She knows where all the bodies are buried and is the kind of friend who will never say where. Jenny has a huge love for the next generation, and the first conversation I think we ever had in high school in the early 90s had to do with impulse engines or something on the Enterprise D. She's also the creator behind Scenes from the Multiverse, an absolutely massive collection of the finest and most kick-ass series of geeky-themed paintings you've ever seen in your life. As conventions start opening back up, you will see her work, and if you don't already have some of her prints, you're going to want some, trust me. Several of her originals have been bought by Rod Roddenberry, son of the creator of Star Trek, as well as LeVar Burton. This kid's going places. So normally we head to the crew lounge for our group chats, but I think it's only fitting tonight we adjourn to the conference room. What's the due date on the kids again?
So the official due date is supposed to be May 7th. April 22nd will be the potential due date. And that's assuming she goes the full 38 weeks. If she pops sooner, then all bets are off.
Well, I know Juice has turned all the fuck inside out, but how are you, Jenny?
I'm good. I'm really good. I miss you.
I miss you too. I miss both you guys. I miss everybody.
Oh my god.
Jenny, what's this event you're going to as a celebrity guest?
Oh my god.
Well deserved, but yeah, tell me about it.
It's a comedy game show. So the way it was pitched to me is it's kind of like Family Feud. The host is going to be asking questions and I just have to answer them, I guess.
Cool, that sounds fun.
Yeah. So, and it's me and some comedian guy and a drag queen. So that's we're the celebrity guests. So
is this like a podcast, or is this being
No.
live?
This is live. This is a live show at the Marquee.
Oh my god, the Marquee.
On Friday night.
When?
I haven't darkened the door of the Marquee like honestly been since we were there.
Yeah.
I have not been there in
20 years probably.
Eons. Easily.
When is this happening? I have to be in the audience for this.
Friday night. Doors open at 7:30. Show starts at 8:30, I think.
Well, let's talk about some Star Trek. Let's talk about Picard's first episode of season 2. I don't know about you guys, but I felt like I was going home to some good fucking Star Trek here.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I enjoyed it a lot.
It felt like I really enjoyed the last season. It was kind of like the last season was almost sort of like a warm hug, you know? Like it was just very thinky and quiet mostly, and so it felt like going from like a 7 to a 12 this episode, because it was just, I sort of had that in my brain going into this, and then right off the bat it's just like it's very exciting and confusing and provocative.
Let's have your opening statement there, Juice.
I'm sort of along the lines of Jenny there. Season 1 of Picard was fairly cerebral, definitely with some action in there, but I mean, a lot of it was more Picard and crew being outthinking their stuff rather than going in pew pew bang bang. This on the other hand, this first episode, on the other hand, nope, not in the least. No, I enjoyed it a lot. It will be. I'm not quite sure how this angle of Picard's love life is going to work for this whole season. I'm hoping they expand it to more of a Picard questioning life decisions in general, rather than just specifically focusing on his love life. But we'll see what happens. Definitely some interesting twists and turns, and I had theories. So
good. I want to hear those before the end of this.
I was very much looking forward to, and was not disappointed with the 30 seconds we got a Q.
Oh, so good.
And we're going to get a lot more of them. I realize, but his reintroduction did not disappoint.
They did exactly what I was hoping they would do with him. He shows up looking young as ever. Mon Capitan, you've aged. Allow me to catch up. And they changed the sound effect, but the visual effect was still that same one.
I'm glad they did both. They explained both him and Whoopi Goldberg's Guinan character.
Yeah, with just a very quick line. That was very well done, very quick and good.
I think it was probably a little Deus Ex Machina to quickly write it off like that. But I mean, you do what you have to do.
I bought it.
And I bought it. Yep.
Good enough. Yep.
I mean, sure.
Yeah.
Why
Addressed.
not?
We move on with it. Yes.
I mean, it's like, yeah, we're fans. We're like, we'll allow it.
Yeah.
So how about I know we're jumping to the end with Q, but it's just too good. It's too good to resist. How about Picard's reaction to him? What did that not? I mean, Patrick Stewart can act the fuck at anything, but his reaction seems so like, oh god damn it.
Just that like he's already so confused and frustrated and freaked out by what's happening around him, and then because I mean, who knows how long it's been since he's thought about Q, right?
Probably a very long time, yeah.
Yeah, and just to, the pieces sort of like falling into place, and he's just like, oh no.
So when was the last time he would have seen Q? That would have been all good things, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
So that's so far back we watched it in my barn room.
I know.
Yeah, I actually remember watching that series finale like live on TV. So yeah. And I mean, he's made appearances throughout the other series, like once in Deep Space Nine, couple times in Voyager.
Mm-hmm.
You hit me. Picard never hit me.
Exactly. I love that.
That was the best.
But he actually hasn't toyed with Picard since the end of Next Generation. So, but the actual reaction of Picard, beautiful, and it especially it was good that they played it up as well. I mean, with this Picard series being on streaming, they can get away with a lot more stuff than they could have on cable TV. So, I mean, the visceral reaction of Picard when hearing Q's voice was very good.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the odd curse word being sprinkled into Star Trek like they do it in Discovery, and it works. I mean, it humanizes us as humans. Like, I don't care how advanced we get in our society, people are going to still curse, and so it fits.
Absolutely.
And you know what? Yes, and they haven't abused it in Picard.
That's it. Yes.
Yes.
Once in a while, you'll hear it, and it's to emphasize a point, but it's not like it's not like their every 10th word is like F you or S this or
Yeah, it's not gratuitous.
it's not gratuitous. Exactly. It's said, but it's not overused.
Let's start jumping down my list of notes here. One of the big ones is we're gonna start digging into Picard's past and like his childhood and like we've all noticed through watching Picard all these years, he's been pretty much a loner. He's very resistant to relationships and opening himself up. And I think we're really gonna get into some real damaging stuff from Picard's life. But they show his mom. Quick refresher, I can't remember. Did she have a French accent or an English accent?
English.
Okay, it was English. I know they've dealt with all that before, but here's the reason I ask, because I was watching, for unrelated reasons, Star Trek Acid Party the other night, and one of the clips they show is when one of those trip out scenes in TNG where Picard's mom shows up, where she's like a little old French lady at the tea table.
Right.
Oh.
And I just want to know how they're going to reconcile. I mean, I know they can do whatever they want because it was like a trip out episode, but you know what I mean? There's a disconnect there with the French act.
I thought that was his grandmother.
Oh, maybe it was. Okay.
I always thought it was, but maybe I'm...
Well, no, I think I remember him saying maman.
Yeah, is that...
Which makes me mother.
Oh, yeah, I guess yeah.
I mean, it does not matter at all. It's just a thing that because I was watching that stupid fucking Acid Party again. It's like, wait a minute. Does she turn into this little old lady?
What got me was... Who dresses their 10-year-old kid in 1920s clothing in the 24th century?
It's fashion cyclical.
And it's crazy. He's like running in like a jumper with a tie and a coat and such like that. And it's just okay. Are we? Is this like Star Trek: The Depression or something like that?
Star Trek: The Next Recession. He just missed the powdered wig era. He was lucky.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah, and I mean, not even Guinan could squeeze out what's going on with his quote unquote love life. So I mean, and Elorians are known. They have built Elorians up in the series that they're listeners. They make people tell them everything. They make excellent ship's counselors. But not even he's saying anything to her. So she just goes, "Fine, don't tell me anything. Let's get drunk."
Yeah.
And can you think of anyone in Star Trek that deserves a happy ending more than Jean-Luc Picard?
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, he's kind of got it. I mean, he looked very happy in his vineyard when the episode started, right? And then and Laris, that's her name, the Romulan woman.
Yes,
Laris. Yeah.
She's a total older hottie, by the way. I don't know what he's waiting for, but the thing that killed me is he goes, "Cheers, big ears," and I'm like, "Oh, Jean-Luc, that's."
I know.
That was unexpected, but funny.
I loved it.
But considering that she can potentially be older than he is.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah.
If they live as long, if Romulans live as long as Vulcans do,
and they must.
Yeah,
they must.
I would assume so. I mean, technically same species. So,
So speaking of Romulans, Elnor is the first Romulan cadet in Starfleet. It seems like everybody just went back and joined Starfleet since last season.
Raffi is back in her commander slot and is on a ship again. Rios,
she's on the Excelsior, I believe.
She is on the Excelsior. Yes.
Yeah.
Rios has his own friggin' ship now. I mean, that was pretty quick. And as an aside, the fact that Rios can smoke a cigar on the bridge just made my heart so happy.
He seems to be chewing anxiously on it for the most part.
Yeah.
But as a cigar enthusiast, seeing a partially smoked cigar in his mouth, he's actually taking puffs on it on the bridge. It's
giving
awesome.
Juice hope.
Love it. It has. It has. They must have cured lung disease or something like that, or something along those lines. Easily. So yes, you can actually get away with those vices and not have to suffer the horrible consequences if you take it way too far. But that was good. So Rios is back as a captain. Seven's on her Ranger bit and has taken over. Yeah, has taken over Rios' starship.
I like how they're fighting over it already. What do you mean my ship? My ship.
Yeah.
Apparently, Agnes and Rios had something going on in the intervening year and a half, which apparently didn't end too well.
I have a note here about Agnes. Drunk hailing is the Star Trek version of drunk texting.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And on a planet of Deltans, that's one of the most sexual species in the galaxy.
That's right. Yes. I knew I recognized the reference, but I didn't.
Yeah, I mean these guys have to take oaths of celibacy to join Starfleet.
Right.
Seriously, Star Trek, the motion picture. Ilea comes on board. Yep.
Must call that the fucking James T. Kirk clause. You can't be fucking everybody. Just a little bit.
On a planet full of Deltans where she certainly would have no problem finding a rebound. She's just getting her ass drunk over in the middle of diplomatic negotiations. So and the biggest one, Picard's back as a fleet. He's now Chancellor Starfleet Academy, which I didn't even know was a position until now.
I like how he called out being called captain. He's like, it's Admiral.
Yes. Related to all of this, I have questions.
Oh yeah, fire away.
So, and maybe I'm seeing conspiracies where there are none, which is possible. And because we're already talking about an alternate universe, I couldn't help but feel that everything was almost a little too perfect.
Oh.
In the current situation, like everybody's good, everybody's forgiven.
Like everyone's gotten good Starfleet jobs all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Picard's kind of doing. You think this is all like Q's trickery? I
don't know, because I mean, and Elnor busted through the academy in a year and a half.
That's right. Yeah.
It just, and again, they may have just decided, you know what, we're just going to do a little reset here, and that's great. But there's a part of me that's like, is the original reality even real itself?
That's a great theory. I like that. Well, if that plays out, you've called it here.
Well, once you get Q involved and stuff like that, anything is possible. So you could be right. Or in a year and a half after the grand conspiracy was uncovered, and like 20 years of android repression was reversed because it was manipulated and such. Mm-hmm. I mean, you gotta wonder if the Federation's got to be a little grateful to these guys.
Absolutely.
And
I mean,
they
saved the galaxy.
Exactly. So mm-hmm. I would think there's probably and especially now that we have a new Commander Starfleet in the chair there, I suspect there was probably some. You guys saved the galaxy. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Here's your jobs back.
Right.
Go nuts.
Yeah.
Well, how fast did Kirk get promoted in the Kelvin timeline, right?
Yes. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Well, even in the original timeline, Kirk. Mm-hmm. Kirk was in his 20s.
Yeah.
Commanding the Starship Enterprise. So considering you join the Academy at you probably we'll say 17, takes you 3 to 4 years. That's 18, 19, 21. Mm-hmm. And so to go from 21 to your late 20s, from lieutenant to captain, that's pretty damn quick.
Yeah,
the captain feels like something that should have been at least in your 40s, right?
Yeah. In most real life navies, for you to go from an ensign, which is second lieutenant in Navy in Army terms, up to captain, which would be colonel. That's usually like a career of 15, 20 years, depending on how ambitious the officer is. So to go,
you can't even blame all that in wartime field promotions.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I mean, that's pretty quick. So I guess the fact that they were able to get Elnor in the Starfleet Academy pretty quickly doesn't surprise me. I mean, Picard is the Chancellor now.
Oh, you think Picard greased that application through real quick?
Exactly.
Oh God, yes, absolutely.
But then Elnor has absolute candor. So if anyone, how'd you get through Starfleet so quickly? Admiral Picard, just pulled some strings.
Yeah.
Shut up, Elnor.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh no. Even I mean, it doesn't matter. 21st century, 24th century, strings still get pulled in certain places to get stuff done.
Even him ending up on the Excelsior.
Yeah.
Raffi said I need to keep an eye on it.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Did you guys notice this right in that scene where they mentioned the Excelsior? They also mentioned a ship called the Hikaru Sulu.
Yes.
A little very quick, easy to miss, but it was there.
Hikaru Sulu, the Grissom.
Yes.
We had the Stargazer again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love the new Stargazer. So it's okay. This is why I need the Star Trek expert here. I don't remember what happened to the ultimate fate of the original one, Jenny. You're my TNG aficionado for sure. What happened to the original Stargazer? I don't remember.
So it was considered lost at the Battle of Maxia,
right?
Which is
I remember the Ferengi episode.
Yeah. So Picard. I think I'm trying to think because they brought it back because they had the Stargazer.
Okay, so is this a refit or is this a new ship? That's what I'm not sure on.
This has to be a new ship.
Oh no, this is an absolute brand new ship. So
it's a new class, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. First class that incorporates Borg tech.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, the original Stargazer, if you look at it, it was a kit bash of a couple. Basically, they took a couple of Excelsior kits, melded the two saucer sections together, and then stuck the 4 nacelles, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, and you got your Stargazer.
It's a cool design. I think the original Stargazer was somewhat an older ship when Picard kind of had it too, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
It was a later model.
Yeah, the design of that ship definitely was in the original movie. Came from the original movie era.
That's right.
So
the episode where they did the war game, where Riker took command of the old hulk of a ship. I think that was actually the Hathaway was the name of the ship, and I'm pretty sure it was the same class.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like Rio's very self-aware "does I make it so" command. He's trying it out.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. You didn't have to take a command with so much. What was the word they used? I just watched this thing and it just came out when it. Yes, you didn't have to take a command with so much baggage.
Yes.
But if you did notice, when the fleet or squadron or whatever shows up to oppose the Borg geometric shape, we actually had a much larger variety of ships now than we did on the final episode of the last season. Apparently, that was a complaint from a lot of fans that that fleet was so homogenous. In past series and such, it was definitely not homogenous in the least. So,
sure.
What I absolutely loved though when I read that was they apparently to varietize Starfleet, they grabbed 4 designs of the Star Trek Online and made them canon.
Oh wow,
that's great.
That's cool.
The Stargazer might be STO, it might not. I can't remember. But from what I'm reading, they grabbed at least 4 designs off and put them into this series, which is actually pretty brilliant, considering that they have a game where where that timeline is actually pretty much where that game starts.
Right. Yeah.
So it's absolutely perfect to start grabbing ships out of that if they need source material.
This Picard time period is kind of similar to the Mando time period in Star Wars. It's kind of like we know what's going to happen way in the future, but we got a nice big blank slate to kind of make new stories instead of keep.
Yes.
I mean, I like the old stuff too. Like I like the Enterprise and all that stuff, but it's exciting to keep going. That's kind of the point of Star Trek, I guess.
Yeah.
Boldly go into no time frame that has been written before.
Yeah. Nice.
Let's see here. What else we got? The variety of ships when the fucking Borg showed up. It's like everybody show up now. And they did. What I really liked about it, I mean, obviously the Borg are acting very weird. They've declared Article 15. They want to join the Federation. So you guys must have some theories about that. Like my own, just the most simple one, did part of the collective break away? Like what's going on? But a queen's involved here. So what is going on with the Borg?
So that queen is definitely different from the queen that the Alice Krieg queen we saw in First Contact and later on in Voyager. Mm-hmm. So combined with the fact they came through a space-time anomaly, I'm kind of wondering if this is definitely got to be a Borg of the future. So something has happened between now and wherever the hell they came from, and realized that they needed for their survival, they need to join the Federation. That's one theory. Another theory, and Seven could be right. This is just a ruse to infiltrate Starfleet. They tried brute force, that didn't work. They tried time travel and tried to destroy the Federation before it even started, and that didn't work. So maybe let's try and join the Federation, and destroy it from within.
Seven not fucking having it, delivers an impassioned speech. She shoots first, that's great. They're playing to the character, but yeah, Seven is just like, nope, fuck you.
Not in the least, and I don't blame her. I mean, what would you do if you were an ex-Borg whose parents were assimilated? You were part of a campaign of death and destruction and assimilation over hundreds of worlds and such like that. I mean, yeah, I feel the same way too.
Here's a question. Is it possible that this Borg ship is coming from the alternate future that Q created?
Oh, interesting. That's another great theory. I like that.
It definitely could have come from an alternate universe. Absolutely. Yeah. Which would also explain why Picard suddenly ends up in wherever he is now when the Stargazer blows up and interacts with that space-time anomaly. I'm thinking that's probably the catalyst that basically changes time.
Yes.
I was wondering if these Borg had anything to do with like Delta Quadrant Borg Janeway had come across, but I feel like that they wouldn't do that because that's more of a Janeway thing. This would be if her show. This is not a Picard thing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. No. These guys are different. I mean, the ship's nothing like. Well, the ship's nothing the same. Their queen actually looks much more a steampunk mechanical.
Yeah, she had a regal bearing. She had a cloak.
Yes, she has a very regal bearing. She there seemed to be a lot of gears and clockwork going on behind that face mask. She was stunning Starfleet personnel, not killing them.
That's big.
Yeah,
but she still wanted to take over the friggin' fleet.
Yeah, she wasn't shy about that.
I'm kind of wondering if that was to power her vessel after they traveled through that rift, or if it's part of a bigger plan. Don't know. Guess we'll find out eventually.
Either way, it's a very big demonstration of we could kill you, we don't want to.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see that the Borg is still one of those pan-ultimate threats that that Star Trek people in general still have to worry about. Oh
yeah, the stakes go up immediately once you hear that we are the boy. You're like, oh fuck, here we go.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're still bloody badass, and that's good.
It never gets old either. I still love it.
Yeah, you know what? The Borg are still a good villain. Would definitely be interested to see how they're going to fit in this. I mean, they are going to fit in it in a way in later episodes. I mean, we already know that. If you've watched previews and such like that, you know that Is Alice Krieg actually coming back as the original Borg Queen for this?
No. I haven't read a lot about it, but I'm pretty sure it's a different actress.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe it's a younger one. I always just kind of assumed that there were many Borg queens. I mean, maybe it started with one, but it would make sense for different galaxies to have a queen, like a beehive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. But no. So the original Borg Queen is coming back and helping them in what when they do their eventual time travel piece or whatever.
Yeah, going to 2024.
We know what 2024 is, right? The Bell riots happened in 2024. The uprisings that happened because of basically like class segregation in the cities, remember? And Cisco ends up becoming like the leader of the resistance. That happens in 2024, and there's actually there's a picture in one of the previews of Picard walking through one of those zones, and it actually has the same sign as one of those like cordoned off areas. And who knows, it may be afterwards, or it may not be a part of this story directly, but it's very interesting that they chose that time period.
Yeah. I think the 2024 visit is going to be a fucking scathing commentary on current events and the world in general and society, how we're fucking getting everything backwards all the time.
Oh, yeah.
However, I'm not sure if the Bell riots are going to come into play here. I mean, I'm not. I haven't seen any indication of that so far. And we're talking, and when we start talking about time travel and alternate universes and such like that, we could be looking at anything. So,
sure.
I mean, it's definitely a good point that that particular year. But I don't know. As I said in the preview, we see Vulcan showing up in 2024. So. I'm kind of thinking that's more that's going to be a focal point, or maybe the split point as to whatever we're going to see in the next episode as a timeline, or the original timeline that should happen. If that doesn't happen, we'll see.
Jenny, you got any theories for how the season's going to go?
Let's see. Well, I'm interested to, and I guess these aren't, I mean, I've given you a couple of my theories. So, but in terms of like, I know some people have said like, oh, we won't see a lot of Guinan, but there's no way that they're bringing in Q and Guinan into the same season without them making curse hands at each other at some point.
Yeah, they'll be in the same room at some point. They have to be.
They have to. Yeah, there's just. They have to. I'm also very interested to see, because I mean, Q was the one that introduced the Borg to,
the Federation.
Yeah, to the Federation, exactly. And so I'm curious how that may tie in, like what connection there, what connection? Maybe there's some connection there that we don't know about.
Oh, you know what? I just thought maybe Q is responsible for bringing these Borg in, but they're a new, different kind of Borg, and maybe these Borg have evolved, so maybe Q's going to see if humanity has evolved beyond their savage nature, because the trial never ends, Jean-Luc, like this is the new phase of the trial.
And I'm also interested to know, like you say, whether it is humanity on trial or whether it is Picard on trial.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's also this discussion of, like you said, like his sort of like inner world, his emotions, his stuff that's happened to him, or hasn't happened to him. So is this more of a all good things kind of trial situation, or is this more of a tapestry kind of situation? They've actually filmed season 3 now.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, they did them kind of concurrently. I think
cool.
Maybe so that they could give him a nice long break.
Do you remember back in like the fucking 80s, 90s, whatever, and they filmed Back to the Future 2 and 3 at once, and we were like, what? That's crazy. You can't do that.
Yeah.
But then they did.
Do you remember when they did Lord of the Rings, they did all 3 movies at once?
Oh, yeah.
And everyone was going, what the hell are you thinking?
Yeah.
And then they released them every year, and they made gobs of money, and now it just seems to be a trend.
This is the Gen X aspect of this podcast I wanted. It's like, you remember when they did this shit, and now we're here.
And people are now freaking out because they're so excited about seeing, episode 2 of Picard, and they're like, but we have to wait a whole week. This is crazy.
I know. No binging. I like that format, though. I really do. And Kryes has brought this up many times, that it gives you something to talk about every week. And it's like I wanted to do podcast stuff about The Witcher, but it all comes out in once, and then you binge it, and then you can't remember. You can't pull the episodes apart unless you go one at a time, right? It's big blur, but it's great. But yeah, you can't really dissect it except for the big issues. Speaking of big issues, the one thing, one of the most important things I think going into this season and this episode is when the Borg showed up, Picard said 7 because he can't hear them anymore. He's in a different body.
Right. Crazy.
Because for all those years into the movies, when the Borg showed up, he could hear their song, but he can't hear them anymore.
Oh, that's so nice for him.
I know, right?
Well, that's one advantage of getting a new android body. So there you go. But that's how I suspect that's probably the reason why they specifically wanted Picard when they started broadcasting from the Rift, because they had that previous.
What's the whole Locutus angle?
Yeah, they had that previous relationship with him as Locutus. So.
And they want his help. They're like, help us, Picard, right? Like, so he thinks he's like, Locutus liberated, Hugh. He freed himself, and blah blah blah. We want to be free too. So
yep.
I'm just so curious to see where this story goes.
I know.
It's good Star Trek though. It really feels like it felt like. I mean, I like Discovery. It's very different, but I really like it.
Me too.
But this one always feels like almost going home to TNG, but not quite.
Yeah, definitely.
It definitely makes my Gen X heart happy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it in the show. I don't know if you guys noticed, but apparently the painting of the classic painting from the Ready Room of the D is hanging over Picard's mantle at his chateau.
Yes.
A fan on Reddit pointed it. I missed it. Did you guys catch that? What's there?
Yes. It's. It isn't exactly the same, but I had seen it in the first season.
Maybe we better start watching for your paintings in the background.
I know.
You bring that up because in one of the previews, they actually focus on the D, and it's a completely changed picture. Whereas the original D was just a flying space. The alternate D is this battleship firing everything from all ports and looking very menacing. So
I just want to point out Juice very unironically said the phrase focusing on the D.
Yes. I caught it. I'm not
sorry.
I choose to ignore it.
We found our episode name, folks.
You're a better man than me. Focusing on the D. I'm gonna better make a note of that.
Oh dear God.
Another point I read was that the showrunner said that they are not going to continue sort of with the synthetic rights storyline, like that was big vehicle for the first season, but they said that they're not really going to delve into that much more.
I think makes sense. They sort of were vindicated.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. They were emancipated again after they found that the whole reason for banning them was a lie to begin with. So I mean, that ship was sailed. Let's go on to like time travel, a very well-known Star Trek trope, and go from there.
I have to admit, I'm a little attracted to Data Stalker. I'm sorry.
It's all right. She's basically an adult.
The only note left on my page for this episode is, and it was actually the first one I took, is when all the preview action started on the bridge and all the red alerts going on, and the computer voice spoke up, and I'm like, I know there's reasons, but god damn it, that computer voice should be Majel Barrett.
I know, yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one.
What's the story that happened there? Is it her estate or something that wouldn't allow it, or some legal shit like that?
No, I mean, she actually recorded a whole phonetic alphabet. For them to use.
Yeah, but they won't use it?
Yeah, I don't know why. I actually want to look into that.
Yeah. Oh, you look that up for next week.
Yeah, I will. That's my homework.
I remember in brief passing reading something about that and why they don't use it anymore. So I'm sure it's out there.
We'll get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
I would forgive the computer voice being George Takei on the Excelsior and the Hikaru Sulu. Program complete. Enter when. Oh my!
And what?
Fly her apart, then.
I love Sulu the man. He's fucking awesome.
Oh my God.
Every time the doors open, instead of sighing like on the Heart of Gold and Hitchhiker's Guide, they go, "Oh my!" And that's it for the Picard premiere. We'll return next week with the second episode discussion. If you're listening locally, you still have time to go see Jenny at the Marquee on Friday for the show she's taking part in. We got Flynn's all over doing stuff. If true crime is your jam, don't forget about Artemis and Milnari's podcast, The Grimdark Diaries. And our boy Raptor is streaming Elden Ring lately on Twitch, so check them out. If you have any thoughts on Picard, drop me a line in the comments, or CaptainFlynn@gmail, or Vinzer Flynn just about anywhere else. That's all for today. Be excellent to each other. Vinzer Flynn signing off.